Oh no.
One that I want to do is going as the spy from Team Fortress 2 and blending in with different cosplay groups. Like I've seen people do it where they just like whenever people are having like photo shoots with a lot of people for like cosplaying the same character or characters from the same show, they'll just like blend in ready to stab someone.
Oh, fuck. You guys got me all fucked up. I just remembered this old... during the 1980s, there is this Russian... yes. There's this Russian movie theater, and basically some very bad people took it over, and they had kablooey vests on, and they're like, hey, we're holding everybody hostage. We want our demands met, and nothing bad will happen. But this is Russia, and Russia use Spetsnaz, and they don't play around. So,
I believe this one had a very large body count.
Yeah, they went to the roof and they put a gas through the vents that knocked everyone out. Problem with the gas: the active ingredient in it is fentanyl. And so everyone started dying because they didn't have enough Narcan to prevent opioid overdoses.
That sounds like Russia.
Spetsnaz does not play nice.
Idiot, that's what I am. Hey, there it is. Okay. Good. So, welcome back. Last time, we didn't play last week, but the week before that... the week before that was last... Oh, yeah. The week before that, you guys dealt with some... interesting, thing. Some kind of otherworldly entity that, it was a hard-pressed fight against this thing, and some people nearly died. Nobody actually died, did they? I don't think. No one needed a revivification. Yeah, everybody lived. The party beat this thing, or at least it seemed like they beat this thing, and then it like vanished in this horrible flesh monster that was absolutely fucking massive, just kind of appeared when the first thing was dispatched and said something to the effect of, "You do not understand." And then it like just swooped away and went somewhere else. And you guys found yourselves back in the structure. You were able to leave just fine, and you were like, ha ha ha, I need a fucking drink.
We're all gonna pretend that that's normal, and we're all just gonna continue the rest of our lives.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. This is fine. Absolutely fine. So, all that... I'm gonna take a drink of fucking water here.
Drink water.
There we go. All right. All of that aside, the group of you have made your way to Haven's Rest, the kind of small, what do you call it? Tavern? Yeah, the inn on top of the inner part of Haven, kind of above the monastery. You guys are there, able to sit down, to have some food, some drink, to talk about what happened, take a short rest at the very least, and probably, I imagine, there was nothing else you guys wanted to do today other than rest and sleep. Oh yeah, the NPCs also lived too. I think...
they left. They left.
Yeah.
And writing my reports.
Yes. I can't even remember the names for some reason. They've gone away from my mind. Jeez. Callum, Gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Callum's gone back to his library, and Ymira has gone to do other things. I don't know if you recall what she said when she
Going to
left.
go jump the bones of her
Yep.
boyfriend.
Yeah, I think that was basically it.
That's pretty much. I gotta go get. Like, I'm gonna go get some. Peace out, fuckers.
She doesn't need a wheelchair, but he will.
Oh man. Where have you been, dear? Shut up. Take off your clothes.
You're mine.
Just shut up and take off your clothes. Don't talk to me. What?
Turn him every which way but loose.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, so you guys though, you've gone to relax. Now at the moment, Sasaki has gone up to. Whenever you guys come here, you tend to get rooms. And coming in here, the bartender or the innkeeper, the dwarf behind the bar, notices the group of you and just Sasaki just says, "I'm going upstairs." It's like, right. So I take it you'd like some rooms then?
Yes,
Just
please.
goes. He gives a nod. He doesn't ask anything for the rooms. Also because if you recall, Yamamoto, you own this establishment.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure, like, one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got the deed. Didn't Sangir give me the deed? That
Yeah.
was- yeah.
Yeah. It was a co-owned thing with Sangir and you and some of the others in the party who are no longer with the party and don't exist. I think technically Brawlkin actually owns a share in this place. But yeah, she went upstairs. She's like, okay, good, your rooms are there. So that's where we'll say Sasaki is. She is just gonna be out for the for until the player comes back. I mean, she's not feeling herself, is she? Resurrection sickness and all that good stuff. Yeah. And for the moment, Brawlkin is also gone to go rest because I don't know where she is. If she shows up, she comes down the stairs. Anyways, that leaves the group of the four of you here to just kind of relax. Some food and drink is brought. Would probably be now the majority of the food here, Yamamoto, from what you remember, was there was a lot of mushroom, and there was a lot of a bread made from a kind of moss that is grown down here. If you recall, a long time ago, the party had managed to purchase this kind of moss from the hobgoblins that they used to grow into bread, and then the druid that the party had at the time used plant growth to make it grow excessively over a lot of different surfaces so that it could be harvested and turned into bread. So there's like this basically a moss bread, and then just dishes made out of mushrooms. And
Didn't
now
you two crunch the numbers on how much moss would need to be grown?
Yep.
Or was that yeah?
Well, I think it was me and Amon. But
Yeah.
we did actually crunch the numbers on exactly how much moss and how much square footage. It was a different time, okay? We got granular with that shit. We may or may not have done numbers on exactly like the exact population down to the child of Haven at the time, along with how much food was going to be required to feed these people, along with how much square footage of this moss and what kind of yield it was going to be, and how much you would need to have enough yield to keep feeding people perpetually. That totally happened.
Shocker, the microbiologist getting granular about things.
Yeah, he kind of did. Anyways, thankfully we don't need to do that here. But yeah, there's a lot of mushroom dishes and this bread. But also at this point now, Yamamoto, there would also be now a year later. There's also some. You think it's some kind of meats. They don't really disclose what it is unless you ask. But there is some kind of roasted something here and available. that you guys are served. I don't know if any of you well, Lawbringer, obviously you don't need to eat. I don't know if any of you avoid meat, but yeah. Are any of you
I will eat and I will drink a lot.
Baka? Do you are you a meat eater? You're a kobold, so I imagine you eat anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure even if he has no idea what it is, he'd eat it.
Oh, that's very kobold of you. How about you, Amal? What would his thoughts be on?
I'll be partaking in anything right now.
He'll be partaking in anything, or he won't be.
No, he won't be.
He's not
He'll
hungry.
just sit back.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
He can have a good berry later if he needs one.
Yeah, or some of Lawbringer's hearty stew.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely alcohol. The most plentiful one would be something brewed from mushrooms, most likely. Or what is hops? What do you get that from? I don't
It's a
remember.
flower off of a plant.
Yeah.
Plant.
But it's
Flour.
not necessarily needed for alcohol or like beer brewing. There's
Wheat.
many ways you can beer brew
Yeah.
or brew
can make
beer.
Right.
Beer.
Right. Wheat beer is
Yeah.
you're skimming the top of the fucking vat, aren't you? Okay. Then there would probably be, I imagine, actually, with what they would be doing with the moss and grinding that stuff up, that's probably the other plentiful thing, like a kind of, because the moss isn't a wheat, but it's like a wheat, so there's probably like it's actually probably called like moss brew or something. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
kinda
there's
like a wheat beer.
there's alcoholic beverages, and Yamamoto, if you're not caring about which kind it is, and you're just looking for, intoxication.
He is breaking his usual
Yeah.
very temperate nature. He just wants to forget.
Yeah. Then you just start drinking.
He has a kobold who will remind him.
Yeah. Baka, how much are you drinking? Excessively, a little bit, nothing at all.
Whatever the amount Yamamoto drinks, he's going to try to copy.
Oh God, Yamamoto's
You are
immune to
about a
poison,
third my size,
and you are a third his
so go
size.
ahead.
This is gonna be great. Okay, so Baka's
Oh yeah, he's probably going to black out.
yeah, Baka's totally gonna black out at some point because Yamamoto can't get alcohol poisoning.
The only limit is how often you have to go piss.
Baka's going to take a long rest because he won't be able to do anything else. It'll be the next morning. What happened? Why headache? Hit the lights
Wounds
at you.
himself.
Yeah, he's over here. I have sunlight sensitivity now. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, you guys are able to, alcohol and food comes to the table. Amal, you kind of, keep back and just observe, and you're here. Lawbringer, at some point you finish your reports. Is there anything else you guys do while sitting there? If there's any conversation you want to have, if you want to talk about what just happened, feel free. You are able to do that at some point during this whole event, with Baka at varying levels of clarity.
Well, I think before we get too far in,
Mm-hmm.
Amal had a conversation with Callum separately from everyone else.
Okay.
And so I think he would probably just ask, just, I hate to bring something else up, but were any of you familiar with Captain Eliana?
Yes, I knew her quite well.
I was
Why?
speaking with Callum at the library, and he said that she has been missing for the last 6 months. Well, I guess I don't know if you're missing as a captain who simply never comes back to your port, but
He
hasn't
sailed off
seen
and
her
didn't
for
return,
6
is what
months.
you're saying.
Yes.
It's the second time that's happened.
What happened the first time?
A different captain sailed off and didn't return. Except apparently she's waging some sort of war on the mainland.
Ah. So. Well, Just thought I'd let you know in case that was an acquaintance of yours. And
Yes. Do you know any other details?
she-
Did she give any indication of where she was planning to go?
not that I got from Callum, but we could certainly ask him.
He did mention one person you could try and talk to.
I don't remember who that was though.
Inaro.
It was her father.
Well,
Yeah, I
he
was about
didn't
to say,
say
like,
it was her
it-
father. He just said it was someone named Inaro.
If
on
I
the
remember
council.
correctly, I was gonna say Anal is her father.
Yes. Amal doesn't know that, but you do. Yeah, Mo.
I know that because I tried dating her at one point.
Yes. Yep. What is it with you and elves? Because this would be like the third campaign now.
No. Trust me, if I did know, I'd tell you. I don't fucking know.
Anyways.
So, my head is spinning. So we could ask her father, Anal. He was a member of the council. Is Anal still a member of the council? I don't know how much has changed in the political makeup here.
Callum did mention an Anarl, so I suppose that means he must be around.
Round. It is. Haven is still ruled by the council, yes?
Amal will just kind of look around.
Yeah, Amal, you have
I
no idea.
not here.
Right. I suppose Brock can be the person to ask, but she's probably taking care of it in her own way. We should speak to him, but not today. Not today. Today is for forgetting
course.
everything that happened
Of
today.
course. Of course.
After Law finishes his reports,
Mm-hmm.
he'll give one to Yamo to keep.
Yeah.
Keeps one for himself.
Yeah.
And then at some point he will excuse himself and he goes to Mizbel.
He's just gonna go without Yama.
Where are you off to, Law?
I have a third copy of after action report to deliver. I will be back momentarily. Turns and begins to
Alright.
walk away.
You do that. He's very diligent. I respect it.
Thought Yamamoto wanted to be part of that conversation, but maybe he's drinking enough that he doesn't care.
Yeah, like at this point, like Yamamoto isn't like concentrating on his poison resistance. Like he is, he wants to forget.
It's like, I don't want this. All right. Well then, now Amal. It looks like by this point later on in the day, Baka, make me 3 Constitution saves.
1 second. Gotta run to the computer.
Yeah. Now Amal, regardless of what's going on with Baka, you can see Lawbringer is heading out to ostensibly go speak to Mizbel. Like he said, I have a third report to deliver. Well, logically speaking, there's only one person he'd be doing that to. Would you be wanting to go along with him, or would you just be staying here with the others and like screw that?
Let's see. I think Amal will go with Lawbringer.
Okay.
And just say, excuse me, I'll go with him and I'll be right back. We'll be right back.
All right, have fun.
Of course.
Amazing. Okay, so you're going along, and then just waiting on some con saves from Baka.
I'm trying. My internet's not loading it up. 1 second.
I imagine you're not going either way, though, are you, Baka? Like, if Yamamoto's staying here, you're staying here? Or would you go if you're conscious?
I mean, if Yamamoto's staying, he's probably gonna stay till he blacks out. To be honest.
Okay. So you can go ahead and roll those
Yeah,
saves.
my internet's not working right.
All right.
It just went out.
I'll roll them for you. Let's see
Yeah, you'll
here.
have to roll for me.
Baka, Constitution save number 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 21. Okay. He's unconscious, but he's not, in need.
He's not dead, but
he's not in need of healing.
He's not awake either.
Yeah, he ain't dying of alcohol poisoning right now. He doesn't need a healer. But like at some point, Yamamoto, you look over. You're probably mumbling something to yourself. You look over at Baka, and the little kobold is just sprawled over the table. It's like, oh, when did that happen?
I just like mutter to myself, lucky.
Lucky. Check his pulse. Okay, his heart's still beating. He is out, and he is going to have a mother of a headache in the morning. Fortunately, he could probably just lesser restoration himself in the morning to get rid of it. He's also going to need to piss like a racehorse with how much he drank. He might wake up in the middle of the night. Anyway, so you two are drinking till you don't want to drink no more. And that's going to be a lot of alcohol. Meanwhile, Amal and Lawbringer, the two of you depart from this area, heading off to speak with Lady Misbel. So, the two of you head off and head through the town. It's not a very long distance to get to the tower. Honestly, from where the inn is, you just weave down a couple streets and then you hit the walls. Right from the wall, you head to the towering wizard's tower that has been constructed here on the far end of Haven. Heading your way inside, the the stone guard kind of acknowledge your presence again, and they tell you to wait a moment as one of them says, "Just gonna check if the lady's in," and then they come back and they give you the nod that she's expecting you, and the pair of you can go on up. Opening the door to Ms. Bell's study, you guys enter in and can see at the moment she is seated. She's seated at her desk, and yeah, it looks like she's currently writing something, but she's just putting it away as the two of you enter. Looks at you guys with her kind of almost glowing orangish eyes, and I thought there were a lot more of you when you left. Did something happen? And there's just kind of a sly smirk.
Lawbringer will walk up to her desk. Bum, bum, bum. They are currently at their lodgings. I am here to present to you after action report. And he'll gesture to it. He'll put it on the desk, and then he pulls out like a 2 extra slips of paper, and it's basically, I insert name have been delivered this document, and it's already been like filled out of after action report for this day. And he has it in duplicate. He's given her the thing, and he'll have her sign it.
She looks down at the report, looks at you, looks at the other thing you're holding. What is this?
Paul is just smiling. You can't see it because his face is covered, but
Yeah.
he's so amused.
It is an after action report.
Right. And this other accompanying document?
It is a writ saying that I have given you my after action report for paperwork.
Where did they find you?
Apparently crashed here from, what was it? It was...
They found you in a wreck.
Buried.
Buried in a wreck.
It was, yeah. I was found, buried in a wreck by the small ones.
Do you mean the kobolds?
Correct.
Oh. I'm sorry.
I was activated, exactly. And he says a really fucking long number seconds ago. And he starts counting up slowly.
Yeah. She pauses, squints her eyes. Now I gotta look back. I'm gonna look back at something here. Because we did determine how long ago you were activated, didn't we?
Yes.
Let's see here. Where was that?
We did, but it's a different time than outside.
Exactly, which is why it's going to be even more funny. Let's see here. Where did we say that? How long? Oh, right there.
Approximately 20 years.
No. Oh, yeah, he's only been active
he's
about a
been
week
active,
or two.
yeah.
Right.
5. 5 to
Five.
7, if I remember correctly,
5 to
because the
7
kobolds
weeks.
taught me how to. Because it was originally like 2 weeks, and then we pushed it back to 5, so that way the kobolds could have
Yes.
taught me.
Because he's
cooked
been there at
utensils.
least 5 weeks. Right. He's been there at least 5 weeks. Okay. So then she's kind of there and she's quiet for a moment as she's like doing the mental math. Now she is pretty smart 'cause she's a wizard. Then after a minute or so, right.
Like, what the fuck happened to you?
Yeah. She's like, huh. Now, saying something like 5 weeks ago, that wouldn't seem unusual because like a year of time has passed since like everybody else. So she's probably thinking 5 weeks, but really, as far as her timeline is concerned, that was probably like a day ago, you know? But
Yeah.
she doesn't know that. So 5 weeks still doesn't sound weird to her. It's like, right. Then she also doesn't say 5 weeks. She's not. Well then, what was your designation? She doesn't say name.
Lawbringer.
Looks down at the documents, starts flipping through them. Apt. She hasn't signed or even taken your other one yet. She's just looking at the other one and she's reading.
He's not leaving until he has
Oh yeah.
the signature piece.
Yeah.
He can literally wait forever.
Yep. He's also not bothered by her reading it first, is he?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
He needs to make sure everything was in order, and if he is to do things in the future and needs to incorporate or exclude certain things, he needs to know about that.
Yeah. Oh man, it's funny. Well, she just kind of silently is looking over the document, reading it very very straight faced. And Amal, now the only sound in this place is just Ms. Bell turning a page every few minutes. I don't know if you just stand there and wait, or if you say anything or do anything, but she's just reading, and Lawbringer's just standing there silently.
Amal is an extremely patient person. He's fine to just stand there very quietly.
This is the most amazing group. It's perfect 2 people to deliver this report. So it's, it takes a while because, one, Lawbringer, you're thorough, so you included a lot of detail in this, and you got the intelligence and memory to remember minute detail. And she takes her time with the document and gets to the end of it. Now, Amal, you got a pretty good insight, don't you? If you want, you can make an insight check just to see what you can read off of her as she's doing this. Law, are you insight as well? No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, Amal is
Ooh.
not paying attention right now.
Yeah, Amal is not paying attention. Amal's like, why is you dressed that low?
I don't think he'd care about that.
Like, why does she dress like a drow? Why did I leave the drow matrix for this?
Yeah.
There's probably like, there's nothing unusual here. This is just what he'd expect.
Yeah. Like, Same vibe, different town.
Yep, same vibe, different town. Some bitch in power. Mm. That's really funny. Anyway, at the end of the document, she kind of looks up to the two of you. Well, that's very concerning. And you don't know what this entity was? Other than what it said and what it did?
I can only give conjecture.
By all means, if there's anything you didn't include. Conjecture is fine.
What was it? I only have basic understand. Have the kobolds told me anything about the Grey Legion? That's a question.
Probably not much, honestly. Because I don't think the kobolds really
Understand it either.
Well, they know about the Great. You know what? What you probably have heard from the kobolds would be the story of how things came about, and also the story would be embellished. So the story that you'd have been told, Lawbringer, by the kobolds. And it's time for an interesting bit of story time. Long ago, over 20 years ago, which is long ago to kobolds, because while they can live a long time, they rarely do so. The kobolds,
many generations ago.
Many generations ago. The thing is, the kobolds in these warrens have actually been surviving better and longer than most other kobolds. Oh, man. Baka, you making food there? I can hear the scraping of dishes.
What's that?
Are you making food? I can hear, like, pots and pans or something.
No, it's the potions I told you about.
Oh, you're scraping around your potions. Ah, interesting.
He's using his alchemist's kit.
These alchemy tools. Oh, man. Anyways, so the story that you'd have been told was quite some time ago, which Lawbringer, you've managed to kind of understand that's like, this is like over 20 years ago. It's like, okay, so like over 20 years ago, which is a long time to the kobolds, apparently. They lived in another place. Their home was an island far from here, is how they would tell it. A land across the great ocean is how the kobolds would tell it. It's like, okay, and from a land across the great ocean through the great darkness. Now, Lawbringer, even in the kobold tunnels and coming up from the kobold tunnels and being here, the great darkness is something that you have seen and witnessed. It is that oppressive darkness at the edge of lights that just seems to be almost like a physical thing, just curling around the edges of places. The interesting thing is, entering into Haven proper, that darkness seems to be abated and is like curling around the edges of almost like a dome or a bubble, within which is normal lighting, but outside of that, it seems to be present. But with that whole thing, so okay, across the, like, through the great darkness, across the great sea, the great ocean, they'd probably say the great sea, another land is from where they hailed, a tribe of kobolds. They would, they had many problems, many complications, many enemies, as kobolds tend to do. And one of their enemies was the goblin kin of the same land. Skirmishes were fought with these goblin kin, but one day the kobolds won a great victory and stole secrets and knowledge from the goblin kind. The secrets and the knowledge of the goblin kind, however, brought many changes And soon after, the kobolds found themselves cursed by the darkness beyond, a corruption that began to spread and consume them. Many of their kin and their kind became corrupted, horrifying monsters in the deep. Their tunnels became twisted and warped, and nightmares began to assault the minds of those who remained. And it is during this time of darkness that the great dragon appeared. There's a lot of stuff that you've heard about the great dragon, but this is when the great dragon first appeared, and he brought to the kobolds, he brought them back the high prophet, once named Ignis, now has another name, but they brought back the high prophet restored, and he began to teach of the great dragon, and he saw many visions. The kobolds eventually had to flee their home and their tunnels, for the corruption ran too deep and too great. However, they were led by their prophet across the great sea and through the great darkness to land here at the base of Haven. It was here that their lord took them back under his golden wings, still brass at the time, and it was here that they began the warren. So that would be like, all he really knows of the Legion is that there was a goblin host on their homeland, and from these goblins, the kobolds stole secrets and arcane knowledge. And that's really all they would have told you about the Legion, because the Legion aren't a major part of their story. They were just another enemy. They were just another force.
And then if I remember correctly... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, I believe Yamamoto did, give some information about how the Seekers had been engaging with...
Yeah. He told
things.
Yeah, he told Lawbringer a few things about the Legion Seekers.
Yeah, so what what he would say to Ms. Bell is, based on limited knowledge, the incident that the little ones speak of, the kobolds, from their original tunnel system, and what is happening at what has happened at the embassy are most likely connected. He wouldn't say that. He would he's very careful with how he talks, and it would be a potential probability is the Seekers have continued some form of research into whatever power drives them. This has borne a strange fruit.
Kind of, she steeples her fingers and looks over them at you. Kind of nods. That does sound like a possibility. They're Seekers, their power base. What do you know of the Legion? And she kind of looks between the two of you and then just says, almost like the question was rhetorical, not much, I imagine.
He'd give kobold, bugbear, hobgoblin, decent unknown. Yeah, he wouldn't even say that because he doesn't know, and that, I'm guessing he would know that it's a mix of the goblinoid species.
Yes, kobolds aren't goblinoid species, but he might say kobold anyway, thinking that the kobolds were part of it. I don't know.
No, I don't think he would, because they don't give the feel of that, right? Because the feel is much different from the embassy versus the Warren,
Yep.
and so he wouldn't.
You just
think
say
that
something
those two
about
are
like goblinoid races.
yeah, a collection of goblinoid races working together for their betterment, I would assume.
The Legion, the Grey Legion, they were once trade partners in a way with Karak, my kingdom, my own people. The Durgar and the Grey Legion were on amicable terms. In a place like this, trade partners can be useful, and our High King saw that as a useful thing. But then at some point, this Goblinoid Legion began to manifest some other powers. You see, it wasn't always a legion there. There was a scattering of different tribes, goblins and hobgoblins, bugbears, disparate groups. And honestly, we would trade with some, skirmish with others, even play them off of each other. They were never any real threat. They became the Grey Legion at some point, united by their Grey Lord, some individual, Zyka. Our spies know very little about him, other than he appeared one day, managed to take over one of the more powerful clans, powerful tribes, and from there proceeded to unite through diplomacy, through violence, the rest of the goblinoids, until they became the Grey Legion, named after him in some way. He became their Grey Lord, almost a religious thing, if you will. Quite similar to what happened with those little kobolds and your dragon friend. Just kind of chuckles at that. Regardless, we did trade with them for a time. Until they got jealous. At least, that's what it seemed to be. Perhaps coveting our artifacts, our magical designs, they decided to attack, and they struck. They even took down some of our fortress cities on the surface. It was a war that went on for quite some time, and has been going on for quite some time. The Legion employs rather unusual tactics. While we certainly make use of magic, and for myself, I would use it, most certainly if I got into a conflict with these Legion. But they seem to use it almost like a crutch. Whole battalions of goblins dedicated to some kind of power. Groups of seekers and others. We found that they make mass use of scrolls to call upon demons, conjure forth the undead. And using these mass swarms, they came at us again and again and again. Attrition tactics, but in ways that worked. Haven became a bit of a problem at one point when they did partly align themselves, perhaps unadvisedly, with the Legion, and took down at least one of our fortresses, and in fact even caused the fall of one of our fortress cities. The one that your companion Brulkin is from, actually. She kind of smirks at that. Definitely a point of contention from her. She knows well what Haven did. But I came here and formed an alliance, and a number of other things happened. But when it comes to the Legion, yes, we have wondered about where they get this power from. So many of their forces seem to rely on this, some kind of being from beyond. They were a great host of warlocks, all willing to just sell themselves in some way to this power. The Devastators among the Hobgoblins, they're their own spellcasters, if you can call them that. They're proper ones, at least. They're fewer and farther between. I would say individually they're more dangerous. But there's a lot more of those little goblins who throw down darkness, illusions, and pull out blades of shadow to cause problems. So, if you believe these seekers did something here and called forth this entity, this trouble upon themselves, well, I think it's deserved, and I wouldn't be surprised. But it could be a problem. She looks over at oh yeah, she looks over at you, purple boy, and then you start speaking. So
Well, we did see that goblin staked through the table. So I suppose that lines up.
you saw that what?
There was a goblin like nailed into a table or staked
Oh right, that's
or
what you said,
something
yeah.
like it.
Yeah, and I'm all almost like the party also witnessed like, and it's in the report, of course. The party also witnessed like a whole bunch of dead. It looked like a bunch of goblinoids that were running for the entrance and got like mowed down by something.
Yeah.
Yeah. She kind of nods and then, so, Malrin, what do you make of all this? I'm curious. You've been fairly quiet until just now.
It seems clear that you have an enemy making incursions into your home territory. I wonder what the response from Haven will be.
So do I. As for these Legion, well, I'm going to have to look over these reports in more detail, but I think they represent an existential threat to this region and, well, indeed, to Haven as well. Haven has tried to sit on the fence for too long, but I think now, and she kind of actually smiles as she picks up the report. Now, I think this should be enough to sway the council. She looks up at the two of you. Is there anything else?
Law pushes the little piece of paper forward.
She looks down. All right. And she'll kind of pick up a pen and just she doesn't pick up the pen herself. She just makes a gesture and a pen comes hovering over as you see like a little mage hand forms. And she snatches it up and just makes a scribble on the signed thing. On because I think you proffer her two forms, don't you? One for yourself, one for her.
Yes.
Yeah. She signs. She signs both.
Yeah, all things are covered. I like to think it's like that thing where it's like the perforation where he like folds it in half and then tears it and gives one to her, keeps one for himself.
Have a baby.
I hear child.
You a child.
Little Canadian child.
Yeah, little baby. Tiny Canadian baby. Yeah. That's her
Yeah,
mom
with
does
that.
some laundry. Yeah. She signs it. She thinks it's really funny, but yeah.
He like once again his chest opens up and he'll
Yeah.
slide it inside, give her a curt nod and then turn on his heels and begin to
Withdraw.
walk out.
Sure. Anything from you, Amal?
Nope, Amal will just quietly follow.
Okay. The two of you withdraw back into Haven. You leave the room and you're able to walk out and start heading back. If there's anything the pair of you want to converse about on your way back, feel free and by all means. Otherwise, you will get back to Haven's Rest, no problem.
Amal will ask Lawbringer, how that you're able to...
Sorry. No, let go of my headset. Your mom's back. Here, you go with mommy. Bye, honey.
He's like, take the distraction.
Goodbye, baby. Big smile as she leaves. Okay, sorry. Amal was saying.
You're good. So Amal will ask Lawbringer, how is it that you're able to keep time so precisely?
I almost feel like the law would have like an internal chronometer, just continuously ticking away.
Yeah, he probably then doesn't even like know exactly how. He just knows that he can.
Like he's not great at survival, so I wouldn't say he has like a perfect time of. What would he say?
Good question. What would he say?
Back at the time.
He would actually say, there is not much else for me to do. I do not sleep like you do.
Oh,
All I can do.
never mind.
Oh no, please go ahead.
So you were just counting the seconds as they pass.
Not inherently. It is and he like stops. A feeling I have. A time. How to put. I know that. How would I put this? I
In
know
words?
that. Yeah. Oh, thanks, numbnuts. The hardest part is the hardest part with law is I'm not talking the way I usually talk because I'm trying to like channel. For anybody who doesn't know, the how I base Law's voice and his kind of cadence is off of Cephalon Psi from Warframe. If anybody,
I have no idea what that is.
Basically, it's a ship's computer, and he has a very particular cadence to the way he talks, and I try to mimic that with Law. And it's hard for me to get into that and like have a regular conversation because my brain just fucking blanks, and then I have to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna say and then get into the cadence. But yes, no, sorry. My activation was earlier. I know that I was asleep for a time. I do not know for how long, but upon activation, I was able to keep time. I do not know my own age.
That's really something. Not know your own age. But if you don't mind, would you consider doing just a small experiment right now?
He'll like stop
a little bit of time.
Yeah, he'll stop and turn and look at you.
The errand to Misville didn't take long. Would you mind if we head into the Kobold Warrens? And if you'll head inside and keep track of the time, say 5 minutes. Stay for 5 minutes and then come back out to me. I just want to see something.
Very well. And he'll follow He'll follow you over to the Kobold Warrens.
Okay. You
And
guys
Amal will
over
stay
there?
outside,
Okay.
and then
So basically, you're going to stay outside and you're kind of going to count how much time is passing. You're going to wait for Lawbringer to go in, spend 5 minutes inside, and then come out and see how much time passes for you.
yeah,
Okay. All right, Lawbringer. How far into the Warrens do you go? Like, do you go into, as far in where you encounter the Kobold Guards, where you go down the elevator? Like, where would you go?
Can I roll like an Arcana to see where I think the field would start taking effect?
You make an Arcana check, sure.
18.
With an 18, considering the fact that the kobolds don't seem to think anything weird is happening, or at least from what you can tell, and you only found out about this from other people when they entered in and when you left and all of that, that only a year has passed out here, you would probably figure the guards, like the ones who would be at the top of the elevator, they're probably affected by it because, you know, you'd think they would think something was weird, but
Yeah, it's like
if you wanted to be sure, get
10 years.
yeah, if you wanted to be sure, like, I mean, getting down the elevator, oh, you can be 100% on it, but you think the guards would be affected.
Lawbringer has all the time in the world, so he'll do 2 batches. He'll start so he'll start near it,
Mhm.
right? So he'll have what's your character's name again? Sorry, I blanked.
Amal.
Amal. He'll have Amal stand like 100 feet away from the entrance of the Warrens, and he'll stand at the door of the Warrens. Count to 5. Go to Amal. Was that about the same time? And then, right? Like, well, no. Like, Law will do this as scientifically as possible. So this is control.
Sure.
Is time just outside of the Warrens still correct?
And it is.
It seems to be so.
Yep.
So then I'll go to the guards.
Yep.
Count for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then I'll go back to Amal. And then I'll go down all the way to the bottom of the ladder, because maybe it's also based on depth. Is
down to
changing
the down into the elevator. Sure.
Yeah. Down
An interesting thing. Doing this, Amal, obviously, when he just walks to the entrance and you can still see him and you're like 100 feet away and he comes back, yeah, there's no change. When he goes inside and ostensibly goes to the guards and comes back, he comes back 5 minutes later. Like, it's 5 minutes for you, it's 5 minutes for him. There doesn't really seem to be any real change there. When he leaves and goes into the Warren, like he says, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go down, and I'm going to count 5 minutes. This time, he doesn't come back right away. But about maybe 8 minutes later, Lawbringer comes back. And Lawbringer comes back saying, yes, I counted 5 minutes, but there's also, there might be another few minutes added on there of transport time getting down and up. There was no difference in time. Even in the Warren going to where the kobolds were.
Is it
Mind-blowing.
a time distortion?
You're not there, Yamo. You're getting drunk as a skunk.
That's strange. What's taking him so long?
maybe it's maybe it's not Law that has all the time in the world, but Yamamoto.
The funny thing is, what I really love about this is you guys didn't ask Buck. Didn't really press him on it.
I feel like
We did ask Bucket, didn't we? And he said
No.
he didn't know.
Like, not really.
mind you, he hadn't even left. So
Yeah. Baka was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
and I feel like
20 years.
Mhm.
I feel like Law was how would Law put it? The small ones are gentle souls. They're not much for advanced thinking. Trying to be as nice as possible.
There's actually some kind of scarily smart kobolds down there. Like, during those 20 years, they've kind of got some Yeah, they've got some artifice going on down there.
Yeah, but he'd mean
Yeah.
like Law would be like pointing out to like 70% of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that like that's only like maybe the top 1% of kobolds, if even, are that level of, and they're not smart like you, Lawbringer. They're like smart insane. Like, oh, let's make an explosive. No, not everything needs to explode.
Oh, you mean like the gnomes off of World of Warcraft?
Yeah. They're kind of a little crazy. It would be very, very practical and very them thing. Like some of the you've maybe seen some of the inventions and stuff, but it's like, oh yeah, they've developed like a they call it their the closest one translation would be something like their Air Force. They don't really have to deploy it much unless they're getting into caves, and all it is they've got some kind of semi-enchanted balloon packs that they deploy, and then they've got like little they have like these little tubes that are connected into their into their balloon packs, and so when the balloon has been deployed, they can point the jet in a direction, not jet, like the tube in a direction, and they open the valve and it blows air out of the pack to blow them in the opposite direction. That's the Air Force.
Dear God. Yeah, no, I think like
And they drop bombs.
I think Law would actively go out of his way to not see that because it causes something deep within inside of him, utter hatred, which is not something he usually has. So he just like, I will stay away from them so I don't murder them.
It's probably like you witnessed it once, like you were down in the caves, and the kobolds are like because you know they're like, oh, they were getting you to help with something, and they're down in some caves, and it's like, oh, it's a really big cave. We need to map the cave, and before you can do anything, like 3 kobolds with these weird backpacks strapped on, put on goggles for some fucking reason, and then they deploy them, and it's like whoop, 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 and they all activate little lights, and you realize those 3 kobolds are also carrying like a whole bunch of bombs. So the kobolds with some kind of like hot air balloon are carrying bombs and open flame torches.
And then
That's why the hell not.
And then Lawbringer begins to short circuit.
Like, but I mean, it worked. They mapped the cave and none of them blew up. They did throw their bombs. Like I think they probably uncovered like some kind of native creature, and they started throwing bombs at it, and then they got softened up, and the other kobolds rushed in to fight whatever it was, like some kind of like underground denizen creature that they they blew the fuck up, and then they took it and harvested it for meat, whatever it was. Actually, after the bombs, it was kind of hard to tell what it was, so
Magical.
because they might have dropped a couple bombs when the first kobolds ran in there and started stabbing too, so I mean it all became meat in the end. Only a few kobolds died. Apparently that's not unusual for the kobolds, you know. Like it's actually
Acceptable casualties.
Yeah, it's acceptable casualties. The thing is, for these kobolds, they're actually getting really used to casualties being like relatively low compared to normal kobolds, and the kobolds will actually take on things that they wouldn't normally have been able to take on because they've had time to actually develop as a society and you know, have some kind of united belief in something that gives them power. But you know, you guys get back, and after all of that, it's like you did not detect any kind of time difference. There was no time dilation or differential or anything. Like when you go down and you come back them all, like two of you, it's like the same amount of time is passing for both of you.
Yeah, no, he'll do it one more time.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's gonna go all the way to the Yamamoto statue.
Okay. You probably count, like count from when you leave them all the way there. You wait there for a while, and you come back. And your counts match. I mean, maybe not exactly because one of you might count slightly faster than the other. It's hard to say, but I mean, it matches close enough of, yeah, we're getting the same time.
Interesting.
So there's your experiment, Amal. Amal is all silent now. Amal?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you are. Oh.
I forgot that I was muted.
Ah!
I just said thank you, Lawbringer, for indulging me. Should we return to our companion?
Lawbringer's just continuously like writing down more of his thoughts.
All right.
Head back.
Okay, you guys head back. You find the others toast, and you would eventually just kind of settle in, and unless there's anything else, you guys can just rest for the evening.
Maul will do some sketching, and that's about it.
Okay. You guys are able to complete a long rest.
But actually, you know what? Once the other people are passed out, I think he actually will. Or like, if he can go back to his room, that's when he will eat something.
Oh, okay.
Law will give you a bowl of soup on the precipice of
Thank
your
you.
door, and then he'll leave you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Amal, you were probably staying in this inn, but it's just like, oh, interestingly, like it seems the top floor is reserved for these people, and it's been in the past year they've probably made use of it, but it wasn't in use right now. So it seems like when they're here, the like Yamamoto and co are able to just claim the top floor. But on the second floor, Amal, you have you would have had a small room there that you were renting out, basically. So that's where your own personal room was. It seems like you're welcome to stay up there with everybody else, but you definitely don't have to, and you just go to your own room.
I definitely would go to my own room.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well then, you all complete a long rest. Woo. Where is...
Hooray!
Let's see. I'm going to apply a long rest to Brolkin and Sasaki because they are not here at the moment. There we go. Bam. And Sasaki. Bam. Okay. They both had their long rest. And Sasaki's resurrection sickness goes down by 1 point. Now she's at -3. So a new day dawns. Yamamoto, you feel fine when morning arrives. Meanwhile, Baka, you wake up and well, my head, everything hurts, and I need to pee. You probably haven't quite imbibed that much before. Yeah. Oh
Half
yeah.
his body weights. Half his body weight in alcohol.
Yeah.
Now
Now
you have an ABV higher than 100%.
It's the blessing of my lord. My goodness. Now, anyways, one thing that you would have noticed is the whole weird transformation thing where you had fucking wings and a halo. That seemed to fade out shortly before you withdrew from the embassy. You haven't really talked about that, Yamamoto. And Sasaki, she's still asleep, but morning comes, you guys are able to go down for some breakfast. Amal, you're able to come down at this point. Lawbringer, you had your rest of just sitting there silently for the time period.
I like to think he maybe went to go to the library where Callum was, and he just grabs a book, and he just stares at the book, and just like 1 minute later, click. 1 minute later, lick. Because he's got literally nothing better to do.
Yeah, Sentry's Rest, you are in an inactive, motionless state. So you're inert, but you're not unconscious. So
Yeah.
and that's 6 hours. 6 hours just being.
But yeah, and then
offline.
the 2 hours is just every couple of every minute.
couple minutes he just flicks a page.
He just flicks a page.
Yeah,
And that adds up to the 2 hours.
that's fantastic. Oh man, I like that. Well, anyways, yeah. So you're able to go back. It's like, okay, it is time. I am sure they are waking up now. And you head back to the you head back to Haven's Rest, and breakfast is brought out. Some kind of simple strips of meat, almost like a bacon, and then again more of the bread and savory fungus, as it were. But yeah, morning is here. Baka, you have mother of all headaches, unless you want a lesser restoration on yourself.
You know what? I'm gonna have to actually roll for that. I don't know Baku would be smart enough to think about that.
I put.
He's too stupid to think about lesser restoration. He's just gonna clutch his head.
He's just complaining. He's just complaining in the morning. Ah.
If Amal sees you like this, he will lesser restoration you.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Looking through that?
Yes.
Your headache's gone. Oh man, you feel so much better, Baka, especially after you go to the bathroom. But yeah, you guys are down here, and well, the day is yours. Sasaki is still resting. You haven't seen Brawlkin today, but what would you do with your time now? You don't really have any particular things vying for your direct attention. You can go and talk to Lady Mizabel if you want, but the report was brought Yamamoto, so you don't have to. So the question is, at the moment, what are you going to do?
I mean, I'm not sure I have anything particularly constructive to talk to Ms. Bell about.
Mm-hmm.
There's certainly a lot of unconstructive things I could say to her, but
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you all think? I'd like to see a Null. Second.
I was
My head.
You were what?
I was, and I'll just say to the group, I was hoping to return the Warrens to your home, Baka. It's such a fascinating place. Of course, if you would like to go see a Gnarl, I'm happy to accompany you.
I mean, I don't
Michael-
object,
Baku will scratch his chin and is like, "We do need to see the status of the Legion."
the Legion? You mean the Grey Legion or Kobold Legions?
Yes.
Yes.
That not an answer.
There's only one Legion. There's your legions.
Okay, understood.
Oh, yes.
We just saw them yesterday. I think they should probably be fine.
They should have assembled by now.
I mean, they won't have been standing there waiting all night, will they?
No.
They should.
No. There. Although I suppose, as much as Baka is a religious leader, he's not a military commander, so he might not quite know what exactly they're gonna do, but he might think.
Yeah, he's speaking as like the cardinal of If they're God-fearing, they should be.
Meanwhile, they're not any more mobilized, and they assembled to show themselves to you, and then they probably dispersed after that, and then But I mean, Baka seems to think they should be standing there all night, and you have no reason to doubt him, Yamo.
I think we'd better go to the Warrens first. Tell the poor kobolds they can stand down.
That does let you go back there, Amal.
Clinton.
Okay.
I'm all very happy with that.
Okay. Well then, the group of you head back to the Kobold Warrens? Question mark? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. You head back to the Kobold Warrens. Yeah. Yeah. When you you get back there, you descend into the warrens and everything, and there's plenty of kobolds around and all that, making noise, doing their thing. There's lots of attention comes your way, Yamamoto, and kobolds looking at you, whispers amongst them in Draconic, and points, and occasional calls of it's like Golden Lord, we love you.
Hi. Yes.
You're a celebrity. It does not seem like the armies are currently assembled, and inquiring about, the legions await your command, O Golden Lord, but they are not just standing around waiting. They are ready to be mobilized should you need them.
All right, good.
Otherwise, they are dispensed
they're
throughout the
not-
Warrens and doing their normal
Good,
business.
yes.
But with Yamamoto satiated, Amal, you guys are back in the Warrens. Yeah, what do you want down here?
Amal would like to take Baka aside. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hold on.
No.
Okay. So Amal will take Baka aside and just ask. I was wondering if I could ask you how to obtain something. It seems like you would be the most knowledgeable. I am looking for an image of a dragon.
Oh, that's another.
High quality image. I'm willing to pay up to 500 gold. Actually, at least 500 gold for this image.
Up to, actually, at least.
A statuette, perhaps?
Plenty of those.
Points at Yamamoto's statue.
They're like golden.
So what?
You got like those statues, golden dragons,
Yeah.
everywhere.
With what she's asking though, it's like, okay, it needs to be at least 500 gold. Well, you might have to get that one. You might have to make that one, but I mean, you've got the materials are around. It would probably involve it's got to be a valuable one. So probably some of some of the gold, some of the platinum. Yeah. Also likely gemstones embedded in it, and because you really got to get that value going. But yeah, this is doable. This is definitely doable.
Yeah, Mako would be like, "Where am I?" And he'll call over to one of the other kobolds to bring him the materials, so he can just fabricate it.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, are you just able to make this with the right materials yourself quickly?
As long as you have the right tools, yes. Because anything more complex would require the tool proficiency. Otherwise, you can only do simple things with.
Now, we know he's got the tool proficiencies to make this shed. So then it's just a question of, let's see, fabricate. Okay, takes 10 minutes. Raw materials that you can see within range. Yep, easy. Raw materials into product material. For example, you can blah, 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 blah. You can fabricate things. If you're working with metal, the object can be no longer larger than medium. She wants something that's really small. Creatures or items. The quality of objects made by the spell is commensurate with the quality of the raw materials. Okay, that's also good. Creatures or magic items can't be created or transmuted by the spell. It's not a magic item. You can't use to create items that ordinarily require a high degree of craftsmanship unless you have proficiency with the type of tools used to craft such objects. And then for your proficiencies, you have... What are your tool proficiencies? Smithing.
Yeah, Smith's tools are like the one I'm proficient in.
Okay, so just Smith's tools.
Yeah.
But not jewel crafting.
I mean, not unless he had time to learn it over that time frame.
Oh, he definitely would have. He had 20
he
years.
probably would have proficiency.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say you could probably pick. I'd say during that time period, you can probably pick at least 2 different tools that you would have become proficient with during that time, because you had the time to become proficient with some tools. So I'd say yes, jewel crafting would be one of them, and then that plus smithing, you could make this. So Amal, a bunch of valuable materials are brought over: gold and platinum and silver, and different precious gems, and they're assembled. And then Baka just kind of focusing in. Well, Amal, what is it you want him to make for you? Because he can make you something out of these materials.
Okay, and Amal will describe a small statuette of a dragon in flight.
Nice. Small statuette of a dragon in flight. Okay. So you do that. Now Baka, yeah. With the gold, that probably makes it a gold dragon. Like you probably make it a gold dragon with like underneath its gold scales. Actually, what would probably really make this a valuable thing, Amal and Baka, the core of this is like a core of platinum, but over top, the golden scales are actually like, it's not like it's carved in, it's actual gold coming out, like made of scales on this thing. So if you look at it at the right angle, you can see the silvery platinum shining through the scales from like the right angles and stuff.
Yes.
And it's just covered in like these beautiful to scale scales, and this is also like the workmanship is also what makes it so valuable. What would the eyes be? Would you say the eyes are like diamonds, or like what color would they be? Is the question. Like what color would you make the eyes of this dragon, Baka?
What color are the great dragon's eyes?
Hey Yama, what color are your eyes?
Let me remind myself. They are yellow.
Yellow eyes.
Probably topaz or amber.
Okay, so probably topaz, because it would be a little bit more valuable. Okay, so like these like topaz gems, and just kind of with the whole design and everything embedded in there. The claws are probably made from some kind of gem as well. Maybe even like, because it's not very big, but the claws of the dragon in flight are probably diamond tipped claws. Because again, like that's really making it like it really sticks out. Diamond tipped claws, and probably the mouth itself is open, and like little like small pieces of like diamond, possibly for the teeth, or yeah, or like diamond tipped silver. Actually, it's probably like, because you're using fabricate, you can actually form things in ways you couldn't normally. So it's The teeth are all made of silver, and they are coated with a layer of diamond.
I can just imagine like a fine layer of diamond dust that's like been spread across all the metal, like hammered into it, so it's all sparkly the whole time.
Yeah, the whole thing is just, it's got like this diamond dust like coating like embedded within the gold, so it's all just contained. And yeah, Amal, he makes you a beautiful dragonette statue.
This is quite possibly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. This is amazing.
I feel embarrassed at it.
It is worth at least 500 gold. And Baka just creates it with magic.
I actually anticipated that that you would be able to make it so quickly. I'm afraid I don't have 500 gold. Why don't you keep this until I can pay for the whole thing? I've got 60 gold, so I'll give you that now. And then I'll see what else I'll see if I can eventually pay the cost of this. Thank you so much for preparing it.
Okay, I have plenty of practice.
I'm surprised he doesn't just give it to him.
He'll just like hold it up for you to take. Just like he just trusts you that you'll pay him back eventually, but take it.
Like, here, you can hold on to it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, you now have the little dragon statue, and Yamo, it's like, gosh. Why does it feel like that would be you if you were a dragon?
That is what you'll look like when you become a dragon.
I'm not. That's not law. No, that's not how that works. I'm not turning into a dragon.
Look.
Yet. Yeah, Baka, you witnessed his heavenly transformation back there. The avatar is getting closer to his true self, right?
It's getting closer to his true form. Let us spread the fire rain down.
You fools, this isn't even my final form. Amazing. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I think we got a long rest, right?
Yeah, you did. You got a long rest already. Okay.
All right.
Well.
Was there anything else you wanted to do here, Amal?
Any questions you wanted to
Amal
ask?
is just looking around and in wonder. He just really likes it here.
It's a nice place. It is
no,
a nice place.
I just wondered if what was possible, and apparently so much more than I knew was possible. I'm still stunned.
Oh man. Baka over
the
here.
kobolds have that effect on me too.
Yeah, Baka over here. This is probably one of your finer works. I mean, you haven't had cause to like, need to make something like that valuable and fancy, like, and so small, right? There hasn't been a lot of need for that. You've probably made some like some shrines throughout this place, but usually among the kobolds, usually it's like you're trying to make big things, right? Like to represent the grandeur of the dragon. It's like, oh, he's asking for something really small here. Okay. And with what you've made, it's like, oh yeah, you know what? Maybe there's something to be said of making like these small little idols, because holy shit, like it's really nice. It's really nice. Really
yes. Very nice.
Very nice. You might have to make one of those for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, he could. It would take him another 10 minutes. And down here in the Kobold Warrens, the resources to do this are at your disposal, Baka. So if you wanted to make a second one and expend a second spell slot, yep, you can do that. And it can be identical. or it could be a little bit different, like a twin thing. You would make one of Sasaki if she was a dragon.
He would probably he might actually make like another one of Yamamoto, but then have like a silvery one that looks like Sasaki. It just have them kind of like intertwined to a certain extent, like a twin dragon statue.
Oh no!
She's not even a silver dragon.
Yeah, she's a.
What do you mean yet? What do you know that I don't?
What kind is she actually? Let me see here. Bronze. She's a bronze.
Okay, it would be a bronze emblem one for her.
Bronze. So like this slightly smaller. So yeah, you could go and like you go and you form. So this would be 2 more spell slots because it would be they're kind of like 2 objects, but you intertwine them when you form the second one. But yeah, you create this like statuette of these 2 distinct dragons, kind of. I don't know, what are they doing? Like twisting around each other or what?
Yes.
It's not going to make anybody wonder anything at all.
This is entirely appropriate. Yeah, they're twisting together like siblings would.
Yeah, like siblings would, yeah. One of them slightly smaller than the other, and just the way you design them, one of them is very obviously like, if you were to take Yamamoto's features and kind of stretch them out to be properly like the proper shape of an actual golden dragon, and then the same thing for Sasaki, proper shape of an actual bronze dragon, and then again like that platinum underlay, the gold scales on Yamamoto, bronze scales on her. What color are her eyes actually? She has not listed it. I'm gonna see. I think she has them on her picture.
Like green eyes?
She might, because she's got that picture of her character.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it because
It's on Roll20, although that's.
Yeah, but that one's not the highest quality version of it. Like on Roll20. Scrolling down to. Where is she? There she is. Gonna go here. Open this in a new. So zoom in. Looks like her eyes are yellow, just like yours. So, yeah.
Once again,
She has matching eyes. Topaz, yeah. So yeah. These yes, Yamamoto totally siblings, right? You can see like the similar eyes, similar features, right? It's nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else. Oh, it's too bad Dragons is missing right now. She'd be like, what the fuck?
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks. Yeah, that would be her response. Yeah, that would be her response. Thanks, I hate it. As you make that, when she does rejoin the party, she is gonna probably say thanks, I hate it. But yeah, after like another 20 minutes while you guys are down here, probably just able to relax. Kobolds do come forth and they engage in conversation, or maybe not even that. They like engage in reverent observation. Definitely to make you like, it's definitely making you comfortable, Yamo. Like, oh god.
I like to think that, like, Lodge being here, a line starts to form with empty bowls.
yeah, a line does form with empty bowls. They come out of the woodwork waiting for soup.
I will produce soup.
You produce soup. What kind of soup do you produce? We'll find out in a second, won't we? Amazing.
4, which makes it... Scrolling down.
I love your soup.
4 lamb stew today.
Lamb stew. They don't even know what a lamb is, but they enjoy it. Okay, well, soup is prepared out, and by the time you're done giving out soup, Law, Baka's probably done making his statues, and it's like, look what I've done. Yamo and Amal, you look over, and it's like, oh wow, that's like Amal. That's beautiful. Yamo. That's you and Sasaki.
That's concerning. I do not like the imagery here. Baka, I have explained to you, yes, that Sasaki and I, like, we're like siblings, yes? Baka?
Baka?
The silence almost feels intentional.
I just like to think that he's just smiling and staring back at you.
Can you not hear me?
Oh, there you are.
Yes, I see you.
I've been talking the whole time. He just looks at you, blinks twice, and says, "Yes, I do understand."
Okay, I want to make sure that you understand that we are not romantically engaged.
He just cocks his head, like kind of sideways, stares at you.
What's that look, Baka? I don't like that look, Baka.
Nothing, my lord. It just continues back. Just a smirk on his face. Doesn't say anything.
Nothing, my lord. He's smirking.
That is the most defiant I've ever seen from him, to be honest.
He's not defiant. He's just respecting your choice of not saying it out loud.
Oh my god.
He just doesn't believe that's the truth.
Remember, he is the center of your church, almost. And the church will bend the truth of God to whatever they need it to make it work. It doesn't matter, the peasants can't read.
Hey, Yamamoto. Don't you know you need to fill out an entire pantheon here? What does a pantheon usually start with?
Oh no.
We need more Dragonborn. Get to work already.
You can't have the whole domain all to yourself. Although maybe you could. You know what?
Just
Right now, it's a monotheistic religion.
I was gonna say, can't this just be a monotheism? Do we need it to
could
be
be.
a pantheon?
Like right now, it's a monotheistic religion that has angels, and the angels are the Dragonborn. But I mean, if you get busy, this can totally be polytheistic.
I don't want to sound big-headed, but I'd prefer to keep this to myself. I don't want anyone else getting dragged into it.
Dragging into it.
I think it'd be funny.
Dragging these nuts.
I think it would be funny if Yamo did expand his
Girlfriend?
domains.
What?
Um,
Domain.
By accident.
yeah, as long as you don't go down the path of Zeus, I think we'll be all fine.
The path of Zeus.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Baka would care if he did. He would just like start having to start a family tree. His book.
Zeus, do not the goat. Too late.
It'd be like a mixture of Loki and Zeus. He's just like, you did what? With a what? I'll make a note of it.
Yeah. Too late. Anyways. Yeah, no pantheon here, right? It's just,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna form no divine pantheon, Yamamoto. But if you do, the kobolds will support you and turn this into polytheism.
Right. Could I go to the kobolds and
Yeah.
purchase some just like steel bars? And
Yeah.
yes, basically just raw resources.
Steel bars. Would they have steel?
Steel
I
bars,
guess
some
they probably would, because the Empire has steel, and therefore Haven has steel, and therefore the kobolds who are working underneath it have been exposed to steel, and Baka likes to steal.
Even if they don't have steel, he would just ask for the basic components of steel, and then he
Yeah.
can just fabricate steel himself.
I would say thanks to their proximity to Haven, and the party and everything,
That's
they
steel technology.
yeah they have steel.
Technology.
Yeah, Baka, your kobolds have steel technology. Like your weapons are made of steel.
Yes, it'd be kind of awkward if we had to make our weapons out of platinum and gold.
I mean, you'd probably make them out of iron, but
No, your fortress logic. You're all rocking up with fucking golden clubs because it does more blunt damage.
golden.
That would be absolutely hilarious if you got a bonus damage due to the weight of the gold.
But
But
yeah,
I'll purchase some of that.
okay. You can. How much do you want?
Let me figure out how much I can hold first.
Ah, yes. Because you want raw materials for artificing shit, right?
Or just general fabrication, because
Mhm.
I feel like in the field, the ability to, at the drop of a hat, make a tool we might need would be helpful.
Mm. Do you have fabricate?
Yes.
Oh.
It is an artificer spell.
Nice. Oh, that makes sense. Of course, it's an artificer spell, and you're a high-level
It's-
artificer,
Yes.
Oh,
and I also
I can fabricate is because I'm a
forge cleric.
fortune.
forge cleric. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also have the extra tools to do even more with it, right? So I have
Yes.
those. I have carpenters and masons tools. So if I wanted to, I can make
Cooks,
fucking
carpenters,
fortifications.
masons, woodcarvers, smiths, tinkers, thieves. Yeah. You can make all kinds of shit with your fabricate, and like fabricate can make, simple stuff, but thanks to your abilities, you can make things that require a high degree of craftsmanship. So jewelry, weapons, glass, armor.
The way I imagine his fabricate spell works is that like lower section where he like folds in half, where all his tools are, where his like right tool for the job
See a
is hidden.
motherfucking replicator?
Yeah, no, he folds in half, like a net shoots out, grabs all of the materials, drags it inside of him, and then all you hear is just like a machine shop going.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, I was imagining him like vibrating like a washing machine while it's working.
Yes, absolutely. And then at the end of it,
Ding.
Yep.
Okay, that's amazing. But yeah, you can totally get like pretty much like however much steel you want to pay for. The nice thing being here in Haven and with these kobolds is the kobolds have a lot of resources. They have precious metals. They have precious gems. They have gold and silver and diamonds and rubies and emeralds. They have iron and steel. They have whatever materials that you might need for things like advanced component creation and that kind of stuff. You can get it from the kobolds. So as long as you have, and Baka, to a degree, you can requisition a fair amount just freely, because, I mean, you're the high fucking priest, and Yamamoto is there. Yeah, you're the Pope, and Yamo's God. So, I mean,
God is
get what you
declared he
want.
needed iron. Give it here.
Get it here. Oh man. Yeah.
so 1 pound
They're-
of steel or iron is worth 1 silver piece.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
not going to charge you for it, Law. Now, you might give
okay.
the money anyway. Being yourself, you might still
Yes, I would
go for
I would still
equivalent
give them-
exchange anyway. Yeah.
money, because it's important for that which enacts law that he must be neutral in all things and cannot owe any debts.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so iron, because yeah, iron itself is a trade good worth 1 silver for a pound. Steel would be more valuable because it's gone through some refinement. Yeah, so steel's probably like, I don't know, a pound of steel would be maybe, how much more valuable is steel than iron?
Depends. What
Earlier
type
we
of
said we
steel?
weren't in the days of needing to micromanage things.
I know, but he wants to spend money. This would be like steel made in like semi-medieval times for weapons and armor and construction, not modern steel. Or post-medieval, when they started actually using steel.
Let's see. That still wasn't that high tech. Not in comparison.
So probably a little more valuable than iron, but it's not like
They
as
like
crazy
twice
as
as
our
much.
modern steel. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Then yeah, we'll
definitely.
say
Like it's not like cold rolled steel used in vaults.
Yeah.
No.
yeah, we'll say like
Modern
double.
steel is cheaper than medieval steel was because
2 silver.
we're
per-
able to produce
Yeah,
it a
2
lot more easily.
Yeah, but we're talking about like in comparison at the same time.
Yeah.
Modern steel back then, they probably lose their absolute living shit over it.
Well, so fun fact. One of the big. So originally speaking, the reason why like Vikings and a lot of other people liked axes so much is because of how you would forge an axe. Is you would take your regular iron, and you would forge out a flat of it. You would roll it around so that way you have your eye, and then you'd leave it open, and then you'd have your high carbon steel, which is known as a bit. You would then marry the two together because the iron is much softer, so it won't want to shatter on hard impact. And then you the bit is installed and forged well together. And now the bit the bit that's going to get sharpened is nice and hard and beautiful. And the rest and the eye and everything else is made out of a nice soft metal that won't shatter upon impact with like a shield or something like that. It's why they were very economically advantageous.
And they were also a lot easier to make in comparison to forging a sword. The process of forging a sword required a high-skilled smith at the time, unless you did a poured sword, which honestly would shatter pretty easily. So axes were mostly molded. It made it a lot easier for like smiths and all that to be able to mass produce just like arrowheads, spearheads, and axes were all cheap and easy to make. That's why they were the main weapons of most forces who didn't have a ton of resources or money.
I mean, swords were like sidearms, not the main weapon.
Swords were
Weren't
more
they?
like they were more like, hey, I'm a rich person, I have a sword.
Yeah, that's true. But watch out for that peasant spear, because I mean, it's a fucking spear. It's pointy and long.
You mean the peasant railgun?
The peasant? No, not a peasant railgun. Shut up about your peasant railgun.
Anyway, back to the game.
Yeah, back to the game. So yeah, you can get as much steel as you want at the cost of 2 silver a pound. So figure out how much steel you're getting, I guess. You can fill your bag of holding with steel. Hilarious. Anyway, unless there's anything else you guys want to do down here in the Warrens, I think you wanted to also talk to Anarl.
Yep, there's nothing else.
All
Let's
right.
head to Nile.
Well, that's a great time for us to call for a break, and when we come back in about 15 minutes, you guys can go talk to Anarl about what he has to say about his daughter.
I have 20 gold left.
20 gold left. All right.
Right.
See you in about 15.
Have it.
I return.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello. Is it me
Arr.
you're looking for? I
Hello.
can see it in your eye. Hello. Yeah. All right. We return. I believe the group of you wanted to go talk to Inaro.
Indeed.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Let's see
Jesus.
what he knows about Eliana's disappearance.
Let us see.
Now that
what
I
he
know I
knows.
sound weird, I feel self-conscious about talking as Law.
What?
During the break, I popped open your stream because I was looking at YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, hey, this is the section where I was talking to Mizbel," and I hear myself, and I sound like such a fucking dork. And I said, it sounds so fucking weird to me. I sound like a different person in my head. And now that I know I sound like that, it's hard for me to even think about trying to be Law.
Oh no. He goes on, gets his character killed. Oh, why did you do that? I cannot handle the voice anymore.
No, it's fine.
Your voice is fine.
No, it's fine. I mean, he sounds like Law to me. He always has sounded the same to me, so he sounds correct. Because, I've heard him one way, and that's what he sounds like to me. So, sounds normal. Now, continuing on. You guys withdraw from the Kobold tunnels?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. You
Yep.
withdraw from the Kobold tunnels to find that 70 years of... No, I'm kidding. It's like the fucking
That'd be
Feywild. You roll- You
hilarious.
roll every time you leave. No. You leave and...
Pretty wild.
That would be wild. You leave and it doesn't seem like any different amount of time has passed from when you went in. That seems like it was the normal amount of time, which is really weird. Because yeah, a mall, when you went in last time and then went through the whole thing and then left with Yamamoto, I mean, you were in there for hours and like only minutes had passed. But now it doesn't seem like it's doing that anymore.
Maul will just keep that to himself.
Law, you'd probably notice that as well because, I mean, you guys were running tests together about it.
Yes.
But yeah, as you guys leave and head out, you go looking for Inaro. After asking around for a few people, it's not too terribly hard to find him. And while not just anybody would be able to go and talk to him necessarily, you guys are kind of important. And you end up going to speak. Yeah, you end up going to speak with Inaro. Now, as it turns out, he is in the year that has passed. He has been basically elevated to the head of the council. So, in whatever.
Wasn't he already basically the head of the council?
Well, that was Mizbel for a while, but then there was that conflict that went down, and then I think he kind of was, but actually, yeah, I think he did kind of get in there. So maybe he wasn't elevated. Yeah, he's still the head of the council then. I can't quite recall if he was or wasn't at the time before, but he is right now. Still. So, no change. You go and find him, and Inaro looks at the group and then just to Yamamoto, just like, Yamamoto, it's been some time. I heard yesterday that you had returned to Haven or returned to life or something.
Returned to life. Yes. Yes.
Well, it is
I
good
have
to see you again.
Thank you. I was wanting to sort of catch up on things that had happened while I was gone. In particular, Eliana, it sounds like she's disappeared.
He has a slightly pained expression on his face for a moment, but it goes away pretty quickly. Yes. Well, it has been a year since... Well... It's been a year since you had really departed and gone off. A little bit longer, but I believe you've been deceased for about that long. In that time, well, life in Haven, and it's continued more or less the same. There was complications with the goblinoids of Docktown and with Upper Haven and things in that way, but we've managed to quell a lot of the unrest. There's still a division there, but it's not as prominent as it once was. About 6 months ago, yes, my Aliana, she had set sail on her vessel. After the conflict had transpired, she was able to start returning. As you know, you'd think you and some of yours had been using her services, but yes, about 6 months ago, they vanished. As in, we were expecting them to return. They were taking another trip out, as they do, running trade in the area. They still tend to run to the goblinoid settlements and also visit with some surface-based Durgar ones, and we were expecting them back after a number of weeks, and weeks turned to months. They did not return. I can say I am somewhat concerned, especially with what news I've heard of the war between the Durgar and the goblinoids. Namely that it's, from what I gather, the goblinoids have somewhat halted their advances, and there's been some confusion over that.
So it was just a normal trading run.
Yeah.
It departed on.
She was to head to Desharis and Narax, and some of the other, the goblinoids had a couple other small military encampments. And she will run to anyone at this point, just wherever funds take her. She won't deliver weapons anymore. But other general supplies or transporting civilians. She's very careful about that. But yes, they never returned. I did inquire with Lady Misbel if she could inform me of any, if she could find out if Aliana had stopped at any of the Durgar ports of call, and she has told me she heard no such news. So I'm, be honest, I have been concerned about Aliana's whereabouts.
If I may inquire.
Yes, of course. You're the individual that the kobolds found, yes?
Correct. I am known as Law, or Lawbringer.
Very well, Law. By all means, go ahead and inquire.
Would you happen to know their regular route?
Lianas, well, the regular route varies depending on where they're going, but yes, I believe so. They were intending to go to Desharis and then to Nirax, and then from there, they were going to head to one of the Durgar ports, but allegedly never made it there.
Law turns to Yamo. If you wish to find this person, then maybe retracing their steps would help to find them.
I would agree. Wait, so did you say that they as far as you know, they didn't reach Desharis?
As far as I know, they didn't reach the Durgar. Desharis
Okay.
is one of the Hobgoblin
Sure.
settlements. The capital, I think.
I wasn't sure if you haven't been able to get anything from any of the Legion ships.
No, that's just it. Legion vessels, they stopped appearing some time ago.
Oh, completely.
Yes.
How long ago?
Well, the Legion, they've pulled back their shipments and trade, maybe around the same time, and after that, not a lot of other travel. I've seen a couple of their ships from time to time, but mostly only making call near the embassy. Do you think it's related?
I don't know.
Law will mention his kind of, or Law would mention his kind of idea on the thing he mentioned to Ms. Bell about how it could be a thing of whatever it was that the kobolds once had that gives the seekers that some form of potential power, and that's connecting to the embassy, and now that's people's embassy, and now their ships aren't coming around, and now it's what's her name was lost by their settlement. Many roads point to this being concerning.
Yes. Anal,
Yes.
do we have a ship?
Well, well, we do have some small vessels, mostly fishing craft. Nothing for long-range travel. Unfortunately, we don't have the technology for navigating the long dark. The only, I think it was called a make-hole. The only one we possessed was on Aliana's ship, and well, that is missing. Beyond that, I haven't seen a Legion vessel in a while, and I believe they navigated with their seekers. The only other ones that for long distance travel would be, well, one of the vessels of the Durgar.
I already knew it was going that direction.
If you're wanting to go after her and see if you can find her, and I now that I see you back and your friends here, normally I would hesitate to ask, but I'm going to ask. If you could go after her and try and find out what's happened, by whatever means you find necessary, please do. I do expect you might need to inquire of the Durgar for use of a ship, and I know you and the Lady Misbel don't see eye to eye, but perhaps you can find some common ground here.
Law will turn to Yamamoto. Option. I could, in theory, walk to said island.
Do you know where the island is?
I do not. If you could point me in such a direction, I would appreciate that.
I don't think I can point you in precise enough direction, Law. Alright, so failing the strategy of having Law walk all the way to Desharis.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you all feeling? And do you all think that we should head to Desharis?
That's what you believe, my lord.
Amal, I know this isn't exactly your fight, but
Well, I intend to make a home here, and I have a debt to pay now to Baka, so I'm with you.
all right. I don't know what Ray and Brolkin will feel, but I'm going to assume they're on board.
We will follow your great lord.
Please don't. I'd prefer, honestly, someone else took the lead, but
Enarl does
I
raise
see
a
that this
single
is-
eyebrow at this interaction.
how it is.
Just one eyebrow up.
I
I'm
like
just
how
glad Ray
Yamamoto
is
doesn't
here,
ask.
honestly.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's not a mistake.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
Service.
he does say, well, it is good to see you again, though, Yamamoto, and to hear that you're alive once more. Is there anything
And
else that I can help
you.
you with?
I mean, just generally, how is Haven doing? Is the council doing fine? Is
The
the city prospering?
council as well, and the city, yes, it has been growing, prospering. We have our numbers have swelled, especially in goblinoids. I think after it became known that this was a safe place, many of the goblinoids who didn't relish the thought of the Grey Legion enjoyed coming here. I know the guard captain Shen is one such individual. It's a very militant culture, and if you're not useful in the right ways, you're not really considered valuable there. Whereas here, we value different things. So I think a lot of the goblinoids came over for similar reasons. Has caused some bits of conflict, as I think you were aware a year ago, with existing population of Lightwalkers and of Durgar, but as I said, we've been able to mostly handle that. Only minor incidents, and Shen has been a great help in that regard as well. Beyond that, trade, while it's unfortunately dried up with the Legion, it has continued unabated with Karak and with the kobolds below. They seem to be able to provide all manner of valuable materials, even more so than our own mines. They seem to have almost a limitless supply. So I'm amazed how quickly they can harvest it.
Yep, they certainly have time on their side. Ha 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 ha.
It seems that way. Our own mines are in place and they turn decent profit, but nowhere near as to the level of what the kobolds do or even require. Usually asking for specialty items, craftsman things, certain foods that I suppose they can't obtain down below. Always different needs from them, but it's trade is well in that regard, and they mostly keep to themselves otherwise. There's been once again no sign of Aemon since he took to wherever he went in that vessel with those strange
A great
plant folk.
journey.
A great journey. A great journey. Yes, Baka doesn't know Aemon. He doesn't know about that situation. Or the religious plant people going to the stars. The ball of fire in
I
the sky.
certainly hope they're well.
I just realized Yamamoto is not the first person to have a religious form around him.
You're right.
Well, no,
That is
maybe he
actually
was.
fun, yeah.
Well,
No, he was the first, but not the only one.
Yeah. I mean, Amon, yeah, he kind of became a high prophet for the Vegapygmies. And he left to the stars in his spaceship. And then after you guys are like, wait a minute, we could have used that ship.
We could have blown up the moon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We'll have to make another one with blackjack and hookers.
Anyway, but yeah, he does say, that was quite the marvel of a ship. It was quite an odd vessel, flew upside down, and I do remember hearing El Sangir. He told me about it once upon a time, some kind of strange upside down throne within, and this odd black tablet-like object inside for controlling the vessel. But yes, it's rather odd. It would probably be handy to have something like that again, I would imagine, but I'm if you're intending to go after Aliana, you'll most likely need to requisition the help of the Durgar.
Well,
In the background,
suppose-
Law starts furiously writing down a requisition order for one ship of indeterminate size and tonnage.
I suppose we better go see Misbel. Go.
I mean, in theory, if you gave me enough time, I could just make a ship. But
The problem is navigation.
yes,
Yeah.
Thank you, Nell. It was good to
All
see
right.
you.
And good to see you as well. Stand and offer you a handshake, and be well, and try not to die.
I would like to say I try to make a habit of it, but honestly, full record.
The bottle.
What?
What was that?
Baka? I heard him say something in character, but it sounded like in the body.
Yeah.
I think only in body does he actually die.
Ah,
Meaning,
that would make sense if that's what he said. Okay. Well, you guys depart from Inaro. Baka, are you still there? I want to make sure he isn't like his internet hasn't died or something. Baka, you there? I'm gonna ping him. Boom, boom, boom,
his
boom.
internet probably died.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It did sound like something failed on his end while he was talking. Anyway, Amal, unless you have any comments for this meeting, you guys can depart.
Nope. Amal will just hang out in the back.
Okay. Then you guys head back to meet with Lady Misbel.
I feel like
Can
there's
you
something
hear
else
me?
to ask her.
Oh, there you
Yes,
are.
we can hear you.
Yes, I said only in body, and then I guess my mic is not like kind of went out because like I could hear you guys, but no one could hear me apparently.
Ah. Yes.
And I'm like cleaning up, so I wasn't able to type it in the chat.
Amazing, amazing. Well, we got the gist of it. Okay. Well, you guys head out. You go to speak with Lady Misbel.
I feel like there was something I meant to say to or ask Lady Misbel about, but I can't remember what it was, so it probably was.
It must not be that important if you can't remember that, Lord.
Yeah, exactly. It was probably nothing.
Alright.
That was something that's going to blow this case wide open.
You end up going back to, like a dog returning to its vomit. You return to Lady Misbel. I cracked myself up. Just silence from Yamamoto on that.
App description of her. Anyway,
Okay. Well, you guys head back. So you go back there. Returning to Lady Misbel, new day. Very similar situation once more in her tower, working on who knows what. It looks like she's actually copying something from one book into another, and when you enter, she closes both books. And then looks up and, well, I see you've decided to return with your sycophant, Yamamoto. And to what do I owe the pleasure of this other meeting? Your large companion did fill me in on all the details. Unless there's something else.
Law will walk up with his document of requisition of a ship, if possible, to go to what was it again? It was
Desharis.
Tasharis to investigate potential evil corruption of worldly affairs.
She looks at this document that you have in front of her and reads over it. And she looks up.
that's basically the gist of it.
So you've come to me to ask for a ship to go investigate the Legion. And why the sudden interest in what's going on in Legion territory?
We want to know where Eliana is.
Ah, your elven friend. So a personal call, is it?
We want our ship back.
Of course. You good there, Baka? You sound like you're having some trouble.
I'm cleaning up all the empty alcohol bottles I used to make those potions.
Ah, very good. All right. Well, she kind of thinks to herself for a moment and then, well, you're looking for a ship. You're intending to go to Desharis. I think that could be arranged. If an agreement is made. You see, there is something I would like there. I'd like to know what's going on. What's happened with the Legion, exactly? And while you're there, if you're right about them having, well, your friend here seems to think they awoke something, maybe, or did something to cause themselves problems. If they did, I think it would be in everyone's interest if you stopped it. But I mean, if you can provide me information on what's going on, then I suppose I could ensure transportation to Desharis is provided. As long
Once, I think we may be in agreement.
Wonderful. When can you depart? One of your companions
As soon as
seem
all
to
of our
be
companions
rather...
gathered.
Soon as we can what?
As soon as our companions can be gathered.
Of course. One of your companions seemed very... out of sorts. Is she alright?
She came back from the dead, you know what it's like.
I can't say that I do, personally. You would know better than I. Shit-eating grin.
He just says, shame.
Shame. Oh, shame. A shame.
Shay didn't die, so you know.
It wasn't for lack of trying. You did try and kill her.
Yep.
She also tried to kill you. It's a very violent dispute. Yeah, the tension is palpable. Anyways, says, Very well. I'll reach out to you when a ship has been requisitioned. It shouldn't take long.
Alright, we'll be at the usual inn.
Of course you will. She's just sitting there staring at you guys. Is that all?
With that, I turn and leave.
Good. Wonderful. And you just walk out.
Immediately follows.
Yeah.
As everybody else like walks away, Law looks at his requisition form. Kind of looks back at her like a puppy.
You can leave that on my desk.
He like quietly turns and will quietly walk away to the best of his ability.
Yeah, well, she said you can leave that on my desk about the requisition form.
Oh no, he already put it on her.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because he gave it to her.
Yeah.
He was wanting it to be signed.
I know. It's like I'm gonna review this and. All right. Well, with that, you guys are able to go, and it won't be too long before by the time you've obtained your people again, that you will get a missive to head down to the docks, as it would probably be honestly the next day, actually, where a ship is available. So I imagine I don't know if there's anything particular you guys would have been doing for a whole day. If there is, let me know. One of your companions, though, does take it as a day of rest. I wonder which one.
Yep.
But after a day, you're tasked to head down to the docks, as there will be a ship. A ship for you to take and head out from here. When you do get down to the docks, you would see that there is indeed currently at the port of call there one of the larger Durgar craft, like one of the longer ironclads. And allegedly, you are to be boarding that craft. And that is where we're going to leave it for this time, as when we come back next time, we will pick up with the party on board the vessel on their way to Desharis, where we'll see what exactly is going to come to pass there.
Law ritual casts water breathing on everybody every day.
That's not a bad plan. That's not a bad plan. Okay?
Yep.
Maul just clings to the rails.
Yeah. Interestingly,
these are
it's not rails. It is a submarine.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hence why I casted water breathing on
So
him.
we'll get to that, like you guys boarding it next time, but it is a submersible craft. The ironclads go under the water. You're gonna have a great time, Amal. A great time. All right. Well, I will see you all next time on Stargate SG-1. Ha! Bye-bye.
Guys, thanks.
Goodbye.